Now, back in the late 50s, the group The Searchers began gigging with hits like Needles and Pins and Sweets for My Sweet. They soon became part of the Merseybeat boom alongside their fellow Liverpool band, the Beatles.
They're now in their 80s, but they're still on stage, turning down a quiet life of retirement for a real rock and roll tour as the longest-running band in pop history.
Our arts correspondent David Sillitoe has been to meet them.
Thank you. Welcome.
We are the oldest band going, yeah. That's the Merseybeat band. I'm 82. 83 this year.
I am a very proud 80. And I feel I'm 25. I have no mobility problems. We've all got a certain amount of time on this earth, and I'm going to enjoy it while it's still there.
The Searchers, back on the road in their 80s.
Retirement seems to be a bit of a problem for us.
I mean, they started out in the 50s and they're still going strong. Meet Britain's oldest working rock and roll band. We're in Chester's Story House and the crowd are on their feet for some true rock and roll survivors. Frank and John are now in the 8th decade of their playing careers. And it's 60 years this month that the band truly hit the big time with an appearance on Ed Sullivan and found themselves up there with the Beatles at the top of the charts. That must have been a moment for you.
Oh, unbelievable. That's when we... There's a story there. I wasn't plugged in, my amp wasn't working. We just... Unbelievable.
So you can't be heard?
No.
You're on the Ed Sullivan Show and you can't be heard?
Exactly. Let's go as crackers. And we got better reviews than the Beatles.
John formed the band back in the 50s. Over the years, there have been splits. 2 band members have died. More recently, John had a stroke and Frank was hospitalised. But as they hit their 80s, they decided rock and roll was more fun than retirement. What's the crowd like these days?
Absolutely baffling. I mean, they come every night. And they come from everywhere. We've got an amazing...
You seem baffled you've got a big following.
Yeah, it's a fan base which we're shocked at. It's unbelievable.
When was the first time you saw them?
1963.
Have you seen them before?
Yes.
When?
Oh, a long time ago. We were on a holiday camp in Brill, I think.
Do they still have it 60 years on?
Definitely. Can't you tell from the audience? These sort of guys will never die, in my view.
You're an original fan?
I'm an original fan, yeah. My God, yeah, fantastic.
Do you still enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I wouldn't do it otherwise.
How did this start?
You're going back to the late 50s.
57?
The skiffle days.
57 maybe?
Yeah, 57, yeah.
How long did you think it would go on for?
God, funny enough, I always thought, well, maybe I'll make enough money to buy a car.
So have you any plans for, you know, when you grow up and need a proper job?
No, I'm going to form a group.
Would you recommend a life of rock and roll on the road for other 80-somethings?
If you love it, I totally recommend it, yeah.
And the secret of your longevity is your...
Moderation is the only thing I do to excess.
You've not lived the rock and roll life, have
I haven't. I was completely debauch-free. I mean,
you were a goody-goody in the rock and roll world.
I was boring.
You wish you'd been a bit more debauched.
Yeah.
You are an absolute advert for a life of rock and roll moderation.
I'm an absolute advert for a boring old geezer.
But you still love it.
I do love it.
When you joined, how many years did you think you were going to be playing?
Probably about 3. I think
3
that was
years.
always the yardstick, and then you think maybe it's going to fade out.
And it's turned into 60.
Yeah, and it's ending there.
I don't believe you. I do not believe you at all. There's no hint of you wanting to retire, is there?
No.
But on stage, you enjoy it.
I love it, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I'm an old ham like that. I just live for the applause.
Indeed, when you've got a crowd like this every night, rock and roll seems a pretty fun way to spend your 80s. David Sillito, BBC News, Chester.
I love them.
They're great.
Rock and roll moderation.
I say,
It's like
debauchery
us.
free.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a lovely message in here from Jeff. Good morning, Jeff. He said that 60 years ago, the Searchers went to his street in Liverpool to film for Needles and Pins. Jeff says he stood on a bollard behind the group during the filming, and as a result, everybody thought he was the famous one, and he signed autographs for months afterwards, bathing in their fame. He was only 13, a great memory this morning, and a great band.
Thank you, Jeff.